Hello, my good friends. I am here with a green screen, kind of. I don't actually have a green screen. Maybe I'll get one, but I thought I'd do a little charming Halloween ambiance. Look, my hands disappear. Some charming Halloween ambiance in the background. So I'm here to talk to you about 5 books that take place on or around Halloween. Let's get going. So in these books, these 5 books, a major plot point happens on the holiday of Halloween, Samhain, All Saints Day, All Hallows Eve. The holiday Halloween is named, and it serves an important purpose, and in some cases takes place directly on that night and no other time. So our first book we're going to talk about is Outlander. So Outlander is about Claire, who accidentally goes back in time. She's from the year 1945. She accidentally goes back in time through a set of Celtic stones, standing stones, and falls in love with Jamie. Now, Claire goes through the stones on Samhain after a group of local pagan witches conduct a little pagan witch service. And I guess she falls asleep out there. She wakes up, feels the stones vibrating, and boom, back to the past for her. So, if not for Samhain, which I'll explain a little bit what Samhain is if you don't know, Samhain is the ancient Celtic holiday that eventually became Halloween. And it was to celebrate or whatever. On that day, the end of harvest time, the Morrigan, which was an ancient Celtic demon, would crawl out of her cave and come walks amongst the people. And people would leave offerings for her, kind of like we leave candy. And they would dress their children up as demons so that she would mistake them for her own and not drag them into the pits of hell. I love that story. So yeah, kind of spooky. So Outlander opens the week of Halloween. All right, moving on. I've talked about this book in depth. I've recommended it a million times. It's The Pull of the Stars. It takes place October 30th, October 31st, and November 1st in the year 1918. It is about Julia, who is a nurse in a maternity ward during Spanish flu. And it's really about women and war and how there is a blood price for us to pay and what it means to be a woman, different kinds of women, what life and death truly mean, and it's also a very tender love story. All right, next, another book I've talked about in depth, World Without End. So this actually opens in the early hours of November 1st, so like 3 or 4 a.m. on November 1st, 1327. So the superstitious townsfolk of Kingeridge have locked themselves in the cathedral to avoid evil. And it's on this day that our little girl Gwenda, 8 years old, one of my favorite Follett characters of all time, wakes up and makes a choice that changes the course of she and 5 other children's lives. All right, this is really a spooky one. The October Boys. 5 boys are out trick-or-treating when they're abducted by a man driving a creepy-ass ice cream truck. I haven't read this one yet, but now I'm going to. And then this last one is a childhood favorite. It's called The Egypt Game. This is a book that doesn't specifically revolve around Halloween, but it has a highly important scene that occurs on Halloween. So a group of kids that are like 8, 9 years old pretend to be ancient Egyptians, which is a pretty spooky game to play now that I think about it. They turn this disgusting old alley in their town into their little Egypt, but a kid gets murdered there. So on Halloween, a group of the dads take their kids together trick-or-treating in groups for safety. The little Egyptians sneak away to their little alley Egypt, and that's when things get interesting. So this was a quick video. I'm glad you guys tuned in. Hope you enjoyed it. So those are 5 books that take place on or around Halloween, and except World Without End, they're all relatively short. If you were to start World Without End tonight, October 5th, it would probably take you till November 1st to read it, especially if you were reading other books. And the others, you could probably read all of them before Halloween. So I hope you enjoyed this. Keep reading, keep writing, keep loving words, and I'll see you next time. Happy Halloween!